So today we're going to take a look at Sentinels versus Dark Zero, because Sentinels, I had a feeling that this was going to happen, because it always seems to happen with Sentinels, in that anytime their backs are up against the wall, you know, they need a result all of a sudden, they just play a lot better for whatever reason. And it seemed to hold true yesterday as well, because obviously they're in the lower bracket. They needed to win 5 games. They played 3 of them yesterday and they won them all 2-0, and they looked a lot better than they had done before. You know, all of a sudden, magically, they just turn up all of a sudden. And so now, going into today, they need to win 2 more games, and if they win the first one, they'll be playing against the Crew again, the team that knocked them to the lower bracket at the start, and that will be for a place in the next stage of the VCT. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens today, but let's focus on Sentinels yesterday, because they, as I mentioned, they played a lot better. You know, there's a lot more clean rounds overall. They just played a lot better. What can I say? And so let's take a look at Breeze, because I thought this was pretty interesting, some of the things that they did, and we'll start here with the pistol round. So Dark Zero on the attack and Sentinels are on the defensive side, and well, what we're going to see here is really the importance of KO. But Dark Zero, what they're going to go for on this pistol round is something that looks very similar to the 100 Thieves pistol round, actually, where they're going to go down the hall, they're going to open the door with the KO and the Jet, and then the other 3 players are going to attack from cave. So they're going for this little A split here, and they're going to try and do it fast. They're going to go for a fast A split, but as I mentioned, we're going to see the importance of this KO, because here goes the Jet and the KO. They go down, but we get this knife from Kanpeki here that's going to suppress both of the Jet and the KO in hall, and this is going to be really important for this round, because as we run this round forward, now that they're suppressed, they kind of can't go anywhere, okay? And the reason that they can't really go anywhere is because what they want to do here, I think, is probably jet smoke this, dash on top of this box, then the KO will use this jet smoke to flash out of, and then they'll push there, and then obviously you've got the wraparound of the other 3 agents from cave as well, and you have a nice little A split on your hands. The problem is, because they get suppressed, they can't use that utility, and so they kind of just get stuck. And so you can see we've got this Sova dart here from Dark Zero, and I think the idea is that Sova dart is, when it lands, is kind of the, you know, time. This is when we go. And you can see that the other players in cave have started to make their move. And I'm pretty sure that is kind of their signal. When this Sova dart lands, that's when we'll go in. The problem is this Jet and KO can't go anywhere, because if they take a step out the door, they don't have utility. They're just going to get mowed down, because everyone's staring at them because the door just opened. And so because of that time delay that we're going to get from these 2 kind of different sides of the team of Dark Zero, it allows Sentinels to kind of just focus on these players on cave first, and then these players are going to be unsuppressed and have their utility back, and then they're going to try, but it's too late by the time that they do it. So really nice knife from Kanpeki, and we'll see exactly what I mean. They also throw in that KO nade there as well to just delay them even more. Really good utility use by Kanpeki there to stop this play on the door. So you can see they've killed everyone that was coming out of cave first, and then the execute starts from Dark Zero on this side instead. But obviously now it's too late. Now you're in a 5v2, and you know, now it's not going to go well for you, because you don't have that wraparound from the other side, and we end up in a 5v1 here where the KO is going to die. So really nice round from Kanpeki in particular. Nice round for KO, and just showing his dominance as well. And now let's come to round number 3, and this is the Sentinels bonus, so they don't have great guns here up against the 4x for Dark Zero. But one thing that I want to quickly note here is actually what they have Dapper do on the Cypher, because Dapper is going to run all the way around here, put down this trip, run all the way back up here, put down this trip, and then come back to A and put the camera down. Now, actually the round is about to start, and you can see Dapper here doesn't quite have time to actually get all the way around the map. So maybe a small little thing that, you know, a team maybe be able to sort of, you know, pick on that and just go very fast A whilst Dapper is still setting up. But we're going to see on this round that actually comes in pretty clutch on this B site, this Cypher trip here. And we're going to see that if you can just get a bit of initial delay, then you'll be doing pretty well, because Dark Zero are going to go for a fast B play here. But what they're going to manage to do is kill the Jet very early, and that is very big for winning this round, because as you can see, Dark Zero, they're droning here with the Sova. They've put up this Viper wall, they've put in the KO knife, the Jet is about to go dash in. All looks very normal. Normal stuff, but the thing is, Sentinels recognize it very quickly. Kanpeki gets that KO nade in there, which stops everyone. Screwface still has to go with it. He's going with the drone, of course, but he dashes into this Cypher trip as well, which catches him, and that means that, you know, you can see he's come through the orb with the decay, maybe taking a hit from that KO molly as well. He doesn't have a lot of health, and now being caught out by the Cypher trip and all of that, he's going to die very quickly, and the rest of his team really can't support him because of that KO molly, and so it works really well. And you'll see that Dark Zero, they kind of get stuck back here, and you can see that the rotates from Sentinels are always very quick into this B site, and so, you know, this is going to be a problem for them, and you'll see that as we run this round forward, because while Sick is going to miss a molly here, Campeki does get this knife off as well, just in time for when the execute is about to come in. So again, they're all going to be suppressed here as they come in onto the site. Campeki is going to die, but because they're suppressed, now there's no Viper Wall here up either, and that means that, you know, all these sight lines for these Sentinel players are open from back here as well, which is really, really crucial. So yes, Campeki did die there, putting out that knife, but it's actually pretty big in terms of allowing them to, you know, come into this round. And you can see they just start mopping up because they're already all there. They managed to win this round, and because they got that initial bit of delay on that jet, and that jet died very, very fast, it created big problems for Dark Zero. And now let's come to round number 9, and this defensive half really was a little Campeki KO masterclass, because there's 42 seconds left, but we're just going to see the delay that Campeki causes here from them, because Dark Zero are about to go to A. They've, you know, very quietly just kind of, you know, played a bit passive, watched any pushes or anything like that. They're not doing too much in this round, and so now they've decided to, after being so quiet, they're going to go A, they're going to put up this Viper Wall and whatnot, but we're going to see Campeki just absolutely delay them so much here, because as they decide to try and come in, you'll see that we've got the camera here from Dapper, and he's obviously able to see that that Viper Wall is going down. He's like the Eye of Sauron here, you know, just looking at it, and what we get is this KO knife in here from Campeki, and that obviously suppresses all 4 of them here that are about to come into that site, and that means this Viper Wall can't go up, and without this Viper Wall up, it's quite dangerous to try and get in. You can see that they kind of, you know, act like it as well. Campeki also puts that great nade in there again just to stop them, and then he starts sending out flashes. We get a recon dart in there as well, which tells them, and then he pops his ult as well. So now there's only 22 seconds left, and he's popped his ult. So at this point, you aren't getting that Viper Wall back up if you want to plant the spike. And that causes a massive problem for Dark Zero, because now they don't really know what to do. You know, now they don't have any utility. This KO is almost kind of stuck here. He gets flashed, and here we go. You know, now you're all just stuck in here. They do have this nice little flank, but eventually Shazam is able to pick it out, and they just find the kills, right? Really, really nice from Campeki, kind of recognizing the situation, like, oh, there isn't so much time left, because normally you save a KO up for a retake, but in this scenario, it came in absolutely clutch. Really did just shut them down and stop them from getting anywhere near the site. But now let's come to Sentinel's attacking side, and whilst their defensive side I thought was pretty good on Breeze here, their attacking side was a bit more of a mixed bag, and we'll start off with one of the worst rounds, and that is this round here, number 17. And in this round, what we're going to get is just a B execute from Sentinels, but you're going to see that some of their decisions, like, just don't quite make that much sense, because what we're going to get here is the chamber is going to come down and be aggressive in elbow, but as we run this forward, you'll see we get a Sova Dart in here. Okay, so we get this early Sova Dart. Now when you see this Sova Dart, it's kind of a weird spot for this Sova Dart to be in. It kind of almost is kind of like a sort of signal even that someone might be pushing elbow. You know, it's kind of one of those things that might tell you that that is the case. And in fact, Sentinels actually read that as well. Now, whilst they've done that, they've sent in this Sova Dart back here already. I mean, I don't really get that, because, you know, I mean, your team is not close to executing on the site. You know, there's no real need for that Sova Dart. It's not going to really tell you anything useful or anything that you can act upon anyway. Like, yeah, there's someone on B site. You know, who would have thought? But you can see that Tens are suspicious. They even ping it. They're suspicious, okay? But then for whatever reason, they are suspicious, but then they're just going to drone out the other way. And so as soon as that drone goes across here, as you can see, Zextro here, he just starts pushing and he kills Campeki, okay? And so now you have lost that, you know, main kind of initiation. You've lost your KO, but we're going to see that they just kind of just want to just then run in, right? It's like as soon as they lost that KO, it was like they thought they just had no chance in this round, or at least they act like it. You've got Dapper on the lurk here, so he's not really a part of it. So now you just have 3 people to execute onto this, but you can see that Tens and Sick, they're just running in, you know, with no extra support. Sure, they have the Viper utility up, but that is all they're going in with. So Tens dies there. You've got Sick all alone here. You got Shazam, who's still like way back here, you know, checking for more like pushes from elbow. You can see it's all a bit disjointed, right? And they end up dying, and we end up with Dapper in this 1v4, right? Like, it's hardly an ideal situation, and Dapper is going to get picked off there as well. And you can see it was just all a bit disjointed, especially because they pinged out elbow as well. And so it seemed like they had the idea that someone might be there, but then didn't really address that in any kind of way to, you know, potentially deal with that threat. But it wasn't all bad from their attacking side, and round number 19 is an example of that. Although there are still improvements to be made, in my opinion. This would be a really nice take if everything was, you know, really well done. We're just going to see there are some small improvements the Sentinels could make to make this a really good take. But here we go. They're going to go for a B execute here. They're going to get 3 people up elbow with a KO ult. They're going to get the Viper and Sova coming through B main. The Sova's going to drone. The Viper's going to follow it. So it's a nice little B split, and it goes pretty well for them. But as you'll see, there are small improvements they could make. So it starts off with this. We're going to get the Viper wall, get a KO knife, and we're going to get this Sova dart as well. So this KO knife is to make sure that no one is watching the door, because they want to cross up here, so they don't want anyone killing them from there. The Sova dart is obviously to clear out this kind of area, but it doesn't check this. It doesn't actually check nest itself, and I think that that is the one area that I would like them to improve on. This is Sick getting maybe an orb line up into here on the Viper and putting this orb up here for when this cross happens, so that, you know, because they don't have anything here. So if there was someone here with an op, for instance, you know, they could be in some trouble. So yeah, that would be one little improvement that I would say for them. But as we run this forward, we'll see how it goes, because this round does go pretty well. So they come up here, they put down Cypher Cages and Jet Smokes here to help this cross again. The KO ult goes off as well, so they get suppressed. And then they put a Cypher Cage here. Now this Cypher Cage, you can see it here, is a nice idea. The problem is it is a little short. Ideally, this Cypher Cage wants to be covering this, like the gap in between the Viper wall and this little corridor here, so that you can just come across here without anyone knowing, and you can be right in onto the site, you know, and causing a lot of problems. So that would be nice if that were the case as well. But it's okay, and they also get a Cypher trip behind them as well, which is quite a nice idea for any retake scenario that's going to occur. But you can see that this Cypher Cage being a bit short is going to cause them some problems, because this Viper can still see. You can see what I mean, where I would like this Cypher Cage to be out here a bit more, so you could potentially just cross. But whilst that's going on, we're also going to get the Viper entering with the Sova drone coming in here as well. So the Sova on site is in a lot of trouble here, but the Viper does cause them some delay. Tens initially gets across, but you can see that this Sova on this site was absolutely screwed. You got the drone here, you got 2 players here, you got the Viper here. Like, you know, this Sova was always screwed. So it's a nice take, and eventually Kampeki is able to kill the Viper as well. So they get the first 2 kills, they Viper ult as well, and it's a really nice, you know, side take on the whole. And I think with some, you know, little small adjustments that I mentioned, this could be a really, really strong take that, you know, a lot of teams would struggle potentially to deal with. Now, as we just run this forward, because actually I think Dark Zero here are kind of just looking to save a bit. You know, they kind of realize the Viper ult's there. They kind of don't want to do too much. They end up just kind of, you know, just posturing a bit and just trying to play for exits, I guess. They do get one, and that was the Viper, so I think they think about it for a second, but eventually we get the save. And it's a really nice round from Sentinels on the whole, but as I said, still some small improvements to be made. And then finally, let's come to round 23. And in this round, we're going to see the power of the door. I think that the door that you can open on this map is just super, super powerful, even if you don't do anything with it, which is what we're going to see right here. Because it starts with Dapper with his camera set up here. He's going to spot the jet playing in there and, you know, push the jet off that initial angle. And then they also go and get this Viper orb in here as well. Now, nothing's going to really happen for too much. They drone early here to get cave control and kind of near it. They get suppressed a bit. They're just going to wait, right? They're going to wait really for Dapper to get closer to this door. Now, the jet actually opens the door herself. They get a Sova dart back there is in there as well, but they just get delayed a bit too much, and the jet actually closes the door. But here we go. We're about to get Dapper. He's about to go open the door again. And when he opens the door again, that is kind of the move for the rest of the team to start kind of, you know, going in onto the site. And so that's what they start to do. They send in a KO molly down here. They'd knifed this earlier. We got obviously the dart we saw earlier back there as well. And they managed to get the first kill here onto the Viper. The thing is, though, I want you to just look at the Dark Zero players. Drone is focused on the door. You got the jet focused on the door. The other 4 players are actually coming in onto the site and just got a kill, but they're so worried about the door that they don't know what to do. And so you can see they get a bit panicked. And now Drone goes for this play by the KO. I never really like this play. I've seen a ton of different Sky and KO players, they see this Viper wall, they know, hey, I can flash through this thing, and then they'll all be flashed and I'll get 2 kills. It never goes like that because you often run into 3 or 4 players and you just get spammed down, even if they are all flashed. But the chance of them all being flashed is pretty low. And so that happens, so you just lose another player. And now you've lost 2 players onto the site, but you'll still see Screwface is still really worried about the door. Dapper has literally just walked away from it this whole time. He's not actually interested in ever peeking out, but it's causing them such chaos that they have to be worried he could swing out at any point. And that is the real problem that they have. And so he gets caught out, he gets stuck in a terrible situation, and he dies as well. We end up in a 4v2 where they have the site, and after a bit of time here, they are going to be able to win this round if we run it forward a bit quicker. So yeah, I just think that the door is just super powerful, even as we just saw, if you just do what Dapper did, which is just walk away from it after a while. And so here we go. They're about to try and come in onto the site, but Sentinels have a nice little crossfire set up, and they're going to get them, and Dapper is going to end up with those final 2 kills, and Sentinels go through, and so they need to win 2 more games to get through. As I said, if they do win the first one, it will be against the crew for that final spot, which will be super, super interesting to see. But on the whole, I thought that they played overall on the day a lot better than they had been doing before. And so, if you are a Sentinel fan out there, there definitely is some hope that, they can improve. And when their backs are against the wall, they definitely seem to play better.